Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to ChopBox Studios. I'm your host, CJ, and we're back and better than ever. Today, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to be doing our very first movie review. So today, I'm going to be reviewing Demon Slayer Mugen Train, or Train to Mugen, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, okay? I'm not perfect with Japanese yet. I'm looking over a lot because I do have notes here. We're going to be doing a spoiler-free section, and we're also going to be doing a spoiler section. So that's why I got my notes written down, because I wrote them down during the movie so I don't forget, because I easily forget things, as you guys know. If you guys have been wondering where I've been, basically I've just been busy doing real-life work, doing housework, changing a couple things around the house, and also spending time with the family when I can. So that's why I couldn't upload 24/7. I apologize about that, but we are back. We are ready to do some reviews, and I want to get right into this, so let's get into it. Alright, so basically my overall review of this movie is definitely good. I love the movie. It was just amazing. Like, the visuals were amazing. The art, amazing. Voice actors, phenomenal. Everything is amazing about this movie, okay? So we're going to start from the beginning off to the end. This is going to be the spoiler-free section, so I'm going to start now with that. So in the first quarter of the movie, I did enjoy all the characters coming back together. It was a really cool setting, something different, something new. I enjoyed all the characters that they did incorporate. They incorporated one of my favorites, which I was freaking happy about. When it came to the movie's actual theme, I think that they really stuck with it well. The enemies were really well executed. I mean, some of them had some plot holes here and there, which I will get to in spoilers. Some of the enemies were a little lackluster, but some definitely made up for it at the end. Overall, it was just amazing. So I did enjoy the first couple scenes. If you know, you know. There were also a bunch of different moments in this movie. There were funny moments, there were fighting moments, there were drama moments, sad moments, all kinds of moments. So if you're someone that is very versatile on your anime, or you like different types of anime, this is the movie for you, because it's very versatile on different types of styles, and it just incorporates all of these different styles together in one. So if you like all different types of styles of anime, I definitely recommend watching for that reason as well. If you are new, however, I do recommend watching the series first before you watch the movie, because it can be a little difficult for newer people to get into this movie, because you definitely need to know what's going on to even understand like what's happening in front of your eyes. So it's definitely something that you need to have some knowledge on, at least basic knowledge on the characters. But once you have that, overall, you're going to be fine. It's going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy it, alright? So overall, I would have to rate this movie, spoiler freeze, a solid 9 out of 10, okay? I definitely recommend watching it. If you're someone that loves anime, you're someone that enjoys art styles and different types of art, I definitely recommend this movie. It's just very enjoyable, so I definitely recommend watching that. And with that said, I'm going to get into the juicy bits, the spoiler section, because I've got all my notes waiting here, and I'm just waiting and waiting to get to it. So we've got some bads, we've got some goods, and before I get into this, if you guys don't want to see any spoilers and you haven't seen the movie already, now is your time to click off of the video. But don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well, because I do want to make more reviews later on. But with that said, and those people out of here, let's get into the spoilers. If you have watched the movie, get ready for this. Don't take everything I say seriously. Take it with a little grain of salt, because I do have my personal opinions. I'm going to give you my critic side, and I'm going to give you my fan side, alright? Because there's some questions that I've asked as a fan, and there's some questions I've asked as a critic. Basically, I'm just doing it from different perspectives. But anyway, we're going to get into the bads first, because I want to get those off my chest, and then we'll get into the goods. And then I also have 2 questions at the end that I just asked in general that are pretty interesting questions. Okay, so my first bad is Rengoku does not blink. Okay, I know I might get a lot of hate for this, or a lot of feedback from this, but I'm not like pissed off, and it doesn't bother me to the point where I'm like, oh my god, it's so annoying. But it just it was a little, you know, iffy, because he never blinks. I was like, dude, this guy never blink? I mean, I guess it's his character, I understand now. At the end, toward the end, I kind of understood it, because his personality came out more, and we got to see his backstory, so that kind of explained it more, as to why he's so, you know, regular, and so like he doesn't show any emotion. If you're watching this movie as a new person, you're gonna look at that person and be like, what the hell, why is he not blinking? It's nothing bad, it doesn't affect the movie overall. That's just my fan side, basically just nitpicking, because you know how I like to nitpick. My second bad is, why the heck is Inosuke so oblivious? Okay, so to me, basically in the first quarter and kind of the second quarter of the movie, I felt like Inosuke was kind of like just super oblivious. Like, he was kind of acting like a dog. And I get he's a beast. He was trained in the wild, and he made his own breathing style and this and that, and he's always like that. But when I looked at the series, I've never seen him like that hyper. It was kind of like he was a dog chasing a squirrel in a way. Like, he was just off the chain, and all the characters had to freaking pull him back just like a dog. And it kind of was annoying to me, because I do like Inosuke and I wanted him to be more level-headed, because I know that he could be a ton better when he's level-headed. My third bad would have to be that I did not like the furry scene. This is just a fan thing. Again, I personally didn't like the furry scene because it was just timed weirdly in this whole like dramatic moment where these kids are trying to destroy their little I don't know what they're actually called, but their inner life pearls, basically, or their focus pearls, whatever you want to call it. I forgot the name of it, but the kids were trying to break those, and we just got this dream. I get it was supposed to be funny, but it wasn't really my thing, and you know how I am on furries. Not my thing. I kind of wanted to see more of his backstory. That's the big problem I had with it. I didn't want to see it kind of like a funny side to him. They were kind of making him look too funny, if that makes sense. Like, he was the comedy man. I didn't really like that a whole lot. Like, yeah, I like when he's funny, but I kind of wanted a mix of his backstory too, because I wanted to see what happened to him and how he became himself. Like, how he basically lives alone now. He was left outside in the freaking woods and whatnot. I don't know. I want to see that. I want to see his backstory, how he became to be, how he made his breathing style. I want to see that. Overall, it doesn't really affect the movie. I'm not going to incorporate that into the movie's rating because it's just a scene. It's nothing crazy. It doesn't affect the actual movie and the actual main plot at hand, in my opinion. So, for me, that's just a fan thing that I wanted to get out of the way. Like I said, I just want to see more backstory on him. My fourth bad would have to be the 3D monster. Okay, the 3D monster, people will say that they liked it, or people will have mixed feelings about it. People are used to it. I, for one, do not like the 3D animation. I do not like 3D animation in any 2D animation. It just looks weird. It stands out. It looks too smooth and plasticky. It just does not look good. And that's just my opinion. So when that happened, I was kind of underwhelmed, because I was like, oh, and I get that, these animating studios have budget, and it's understandable that it costs a lot of money and time to draw that whole entire sequence from 2D. I get it. But at the same time, the 3D kind of lowered the rating for me a little bit, that's for sure, because it just threw me off. At first, I was just kind of... I couldn't focus at the key points sometimes because I was too focused on why the 3D looked so bad, and that's just my opinion. To me, I didn't like that. Overall, later down the line, I got used to it. My fifth bad would have to be, there was a scene where Tanjiro got cut or stabbed by the conductor. It was kind of stupid to kind of cripple him that way. It was kind of like, oh man, this regular guy out of everybody else on the train or anything else that happened, the one guy that puts our guy out of the fight is a freaking conductor, an NPC, alright? That in itself was kind of underwhelming, but my question is, couldn't him or even Rengoku use fire breathing to cauterize his wound? I was asking myself that the whole time while he was laying on the floor, and when Rengoku was fighting you-know-who. Can't he just cauterize it with his blade, or is that not, a thing in this universe? Maybe it's not, I guess, I'm overthinking it, but the logic decision would be to cauterize your wound with your blade. Again, that doesn't really affect the movie rating overall, in my opinion. It's just something that I think should have been added into there, or something that could have happened in the movie. This is a big one. So the sixth dad, and this is a really big one. Why did Tanjiro not take a blood sample from the lower sixth demon, the first demon that they fought, the train demon? Why did he not take a blood sample? That's my question. If you looked at the series, you know that basically he ran into that doctor. I forgot their name, but don't quote me on this. But the doctor and that other kid that had the greenish bluish hair, I forgot their names, okay? When he ran into them, they said that if you get all of the blood from the uppers and lowers, then you can easily turn your sister back into a human. What I saw from here is he didn't take any blood samples, and I was like, I kind of questioned myself because I'm so used to him in the series always taking blood samples from them before they died. The other part that doesn't make sense to me is that this movie is canon, so you can't use the excuse of saying,
oh, well, this movie's not canon, so of course you wouldn't do that because the demon's not canon and this and that.
But this movie is canon to the manga, so he should have definitely took a blood sample from them, but maybe I'm just, again, thinking it too much, but that does bring the rating down a little bit for me because that's something that is very big in this series, so I'm surprised I didn't see that happen. The ending was sad, okay? The ending was sad and unfortunate to me. I know it's meant to be sad, obviously. Rengoku's supposed to die, as in the manga. But it was just kind of unsatisfying when the demon got away because I really thought they were going to be able to pull something off and cut this guy's head off before time was up, but apparently they didn't, and he got away, and also Tanjiro threw his sword, so now he got away with Tanjiro's sword. So it was kind of annoying that that happened. It kind of made me mad because I'm not a crier, so I wasn't busy crying about Rengoku, but it made me more mad because I was like, dude, this guy really got away. And I understand it's supposed to set us up for the next series or the next movie, whatever you want to say, but it just kind of was unsatisfying when I saw that. That's just my opinion. It doesn't bring the rating down, but that's from a fan's perspective. I didn't like the ending that much, even though Rengoku technically won. Didn't like the ending. Another one was I was hoping for Rengoku and Tanjiro to do a dual flame breathing style technique. Now, this is something that was supposed to be set up. It had to be set up. Like, it was right there in front of us. As people that love Rengoku and they love the fire style and the Hinokami dance and all that stuff, dude, you can't lie. You wanted to see this too. You wanted to see Tanjiro and Rengoku do a dual breathing fire style technique. That would have been epic to finish off this demon with both of them just going in. Like, that would be awesome. And I get that Tanjiro couldn't keep up, but it would have been so cool to finish him off that way. That's just another fan thing that I was hoping for. Doesn't affect the rating. It's just I wish I could see that because it was set up so perfectly for that, and I was hoping that I was gonna see that. As soon as I saw this other demon pull up after the first one, I was like, oh, we got another chance. And it just didn't happen, so I was kind of underwhelmed about that, but that's just a fan's perspective, and it doesn't have anything to do with the actual plot. This is another big one that I had a problem with. And again, I might be thinking too logically when I say this, but why couldn't the messenger bird just notify the other Hashiras? What was stopping them from doing that? I want to know the excuse on that because it's totally possible, it's totally doable. The only reason why you couldn't do that is if you were too far away. That's the only thing I can think of. That's it. But if they weren't that far away, then I think they could have easily just told their bird to go tell the other Hashiras where they are and to go help them out. We wouldn't have had Rengoku die. But that's a plot issue, not a movie issue, because the movie, I understand, I'm not going too harsh on it because the movie has to stick with what's already written. So that's more of a plot issue and not an actual movie issue. Another one that I would say, this is another fan perspective and another fan bad for me. I just wish Nezuko had more fighting time instead of looking cute or whatever. In my personal opinion, as someone that watches a lot of anime on their free time and also reacts to it on here for YouTube, I'm someone that I do not like filler unless it's really well executed, and I do not like these like other little scenes with preferably like women. And I'm not being sexist, I'm not being misogynistic, okay? So if you're a Karen, please stop watching and click off the video. For example, Fire Force. When Tamaki, I think it was Tamaki, the cat girl, she always ends up having her boobs and whatnot on the main character and stuff. And it's just kind of annoying. Like, when I see stuff like that, it's annoying. So, it's not the same extremity here because, obviously they wouldn't do that with Nezuko. But I just didn't like that we spent time making her look cute and stuff when we can spend that time having her fight and seeing more of her demon powers. That's what I wanted to see because she was a huge role in this film overall, and I did want to see more of her powers and more of her fighting. But that's just my opinion. Again, another fan's perspective. The first villain, in my opinion, was kind of a letdown. Now, when I say that he was a letdown, I don't mean that the character is horribly designed. or like badly voice acted. What I mean is that I really did like the design at first, and I liked his powers and how he could put people to sleep, kind of like a Genjutsu or maybe like Jigglypuff, you know. I really did like that, and I liked that power. But as soon as he turned into that big monster on the train, I was like, you know, it was kind of like underwhelming, because I was hoping that he would be some saucy character that it was going to take all of them to go against, and we were going to see all of them pop off against this character. But it ended up just being another big monster where, oh, it's you take that side, and I'll get the main baddie. You know, it's like, I get it's teamwork, but I don't really like those kind of battles, and especially when they're fighting just tentacles and stuff, and it just seems easy, kind of like a cop-out, and I kind of just wanted to see more of a struggle, and I wanted to see this character be more saucy, be more better, you know, especially with the way he was talking. He sounded very confident, or he, she, whatever it is, because it's unisex, the character. I just think that he would have been stronger for how much crap he talked and how confident he sounded. Another question that I asked is, couldn't Tanjiro, and this is completely unrelated, and this is like unconfirmed, I do not know if this is possible, obviously, okay, I'm just saying from a fan's perspective, couldn't Tanjiro just burn the forest when the guy was running, the other demon, the last demon? Couldn't he just burn the forest with his fire breathing style? Because that's what I thought he was going to do when the fire came out his breath. I didn't think he was just going to toss his sword and be like, oh yeah, you can't come back here. I thought he was actually going to go after him or burn the forest down so that the sun was shining on the demon. That's what I thought was going to happen. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. We can only dream, obviously. Again, it didn't really affect the overall movie per se. Just from a fan's perspective, it did. And again, that doesn't matter because, you know, that's just my opinion. And then the last one that I have here under bads, I know there was a lot, kind of, but as I said, I have some fan perspective bads and some critic perspective bads, okay? So I mixed them all together. Okay, so the last one I have is, I wanted longer fight scenes in the first 2 quarters of the movie, okay? Because, as you know, in the beginning, when the very first demon, not the lower 6 demon, the actual, like, regular-ass demon, when he showed up and punched their ticket, which was to put them to sleep, obviously, we got to see a little snippet of Rengoku's power and all this and that, and then from there and throughout the rest of the movie, basically up until they beat the lower 6 boss, I felt like there were bits and pieces of showing off people's powers or individuals' powers or breathing styles, but when it was executed, it was only executed for like 3 seconds, and then it was like, oh yeah, here's a funny scene where they're like joking around and this and that. I get that people love filler. I love to have humor in my stuff. It's perfectly timed when it is. But the thing is, when you are fighting something and something's getting hyped and you're feeling like awesome, like, this is just my perspective. If I'm feeling freaking awesome and I'm getting hyped about a battle that's coming up, and then they just stop and show me some other crap that I'm not interested in, it just kind of makes it underwhelming to me, in my opinion. So I just kind of wish that there were longer fight scenes, but to be honest, the last 2 quarters of the movie definitely made up for that a ton, because when I saw the last fight with Rengoku and the last demon that they were fighting, it was amazing. It was phenomenal. So, and I'm gonna get into that right now because we're gonna be getting into the good side. So that's basically all the bads that I had from a fan's perspective and also from a critic's perspective. As in goods, the first thing I have is the animation on Zenitsu is awesome. Whoever was in charge of animating Zenitsu's facial expressions did a phenomenal job, okay? He had the best facial expressions in the whole entire movie, and I loved it, okay? As someone who loves Zenitsu as their favorite character in the actual series, I was happy to see his facial expressions really well executed, and I was happy to see him running around like usual. You already know the deal with Zenitsu, so they did him perfectly. I think his animation was on point, and I really appreciate that, so that's plus points right there. Another one that I had was Tanjiro actually asked Rengoku about Hinokami dance techniques, and that was very interesting to me because before the movie even started, I was like, okay, I'm hoping that he talks to Rengoku about this, because Rengoku is the only flame Hashira that exists right now that we know of, so obviously it's logical to ask the only flame Hashira about flame styles and flame techniques. So I was happy to see that incorporated into the film, so that was really awesome to me because that's a question that I wanted answered. So that was plus points for me as well. Moving on, Rengoku's story was well executed. Now, when I say this, the flashback for Rengoku and his backstory was awesome, okay? When I asked all these questions like, dang, why is he repeating himself so much? Why is he so blank? Why doesn't he blink? Why doesn't he do any of that? Why is he so weird? Like, he just acts weird. As the movie went along, I was liking him more and more and more, and was kind of getting attached to him, I won't lie. And then when we got his backstory, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, now this character is very well executed. And that's what made up for that first bad, from a fan's perspective, that I said before with the not blinking. That definitely made up for it because I took that back. I shut myself up right after they explained the story, okay? So that was very well executed. We got to see why he had such a tragic past. His mom passed away, his dad became a deadbeat. His dad used to be a flame Hashira and actually trained him and his younger brother. So it was pretty cool to see that. And we basically got some teasers saying that his younger brother might become the next flame Hashira or will train just like Rengoku. And the funny thing is that they look exactly alike, so Rengoku dying really isn't as big as people think, because honestly his brother could very well just be another Rengoku. Literally, it's another carbon copy of Rengoku. It like looks like him, literally. So that was really cool, and I really loved his backstory and how it was executed, so that was awesome. Alright, so the next one I have here is the whole inner soul idea was pretty cool and enlightening, okay? That's just my opinion. I really did like that whole inner soul thing with the orb inside each person's soul that they had to protect, which represented their own personality and their own being in life, which was really cool because we got to see Rengoku's, which was all flames. It's like flames of ambition, and he was kind of already connected to his inner soul because of the resolve that he has. Like, he's just strongly already connected to his soul and his battle spirit. So it was really cool to see that he sensed when that girl was about to break his inner soul orb, and he just showed up and ended up choking her. Like, that scene was amazing, okay? I love how they didn't hold back because they're children, okay? I do not condone children's violence or abusing your child, okay? So do not take that out of context. But I did like that he didn't hold back and that he did what he needed to do to survive, and that was really cool to me. So that was another plus points for me. We had another one. Nezuko plays a key role. Now, in this film, I was very glad to see Nezuko play a key role in this film. And what's funny is when they were all put to sleep in the train with the whole ticket technique, I was questioning myself while they were inside their own mind, inside their own head, protecting their soul gems and whatnot. I was saying to myself, couldn't Nezuko break the bond and just free them from the sleep? Or am I tripping? Like, why couldn't she do that? And as soon as I said that, it cut to her coming out the box, and they had their whole cutesy roll and whatever. The whole audience was like, oh, whatever. Okay, but after that, she started to use her exploding blood technique, which was amazing. So when I saw that, I started getting goosebumps, and I was like, oh yes, finally, okay, they're doing what I want them to do. That's amazing. So the story definitely went the way I wanted it to, and she definitely played a key role getting them back up and getting them back into the fight, okay? So that was really cool to see. The next one I have is Rengoku's selfless personality, okay? His personality is amazing, especially towards the end and towards the third half of the film. It was amazing, okay? He was so selfless. All he cared about was his comrades, the people around him, and he even said it himself, nobody's going to be dying on this train, alright? And he, at the end, he eventually did accomplish his goal. I mean, it's unfortunate that he did indeed die, but at the end he did win by accomplishing his goal because nobody got killed. So that was pretty cool to see, and I really did like his personality. He was really bold, even though he was very blank most of the time. He was definitely really cool as a character. So next up, I have another note here. Rengoku tells Tanjiro where Hinokami is. Now, at the end of the film, if you don't know, which if you're watching it you don't know, I don't know why you'd be watching, but if you don't know, or if you didn't see, if you're taking a bathroom break, Rengoku basically told Tanjiro towards the end where to find Hinokami dance techniques and basically the best option to go chasing after them, which was really cool to see because I didn't want that knowledge to go to rest. I kind of figured that Rengoku knew something, but he didn't want to say it. And at the end, he did eventually say it, so now Tanjiro does know where to go to leave off on his question that he asked earlier, and that's really cool to see because I want to see him find this. I want to see more of the fire style, okay? The water style is cool too, don't get me wrong, but I want to see him use more fire style. Like, I want to see more different fire techniques, not just one technique. I want to see more, okay? So that's something that I'm definitely excited about, and again, that gave it plus points. And then the last good that I had on my list was Inosuke was perfection in the third quarter, okay? And when I say that, again, in the first half, like I said, he was kind of oblivious. He was acting kind of like a dog chasing a squirrel, in my opinion. In the last two parts of the film, he made up for that 100%, because when him and Tanjiro were working together to get to the front of the train, he was popping off. He was slicing through all kinds of freaking things, the little tentacle things, whatever you want to call them. And it was just amazing. So when they got to the end and they were about to cut its neck, it kind of braced itself, if you saw. And when that happened, it started spawning a bunch of like tentacles and flesh and all these eyeballs and stuff everywhere. As soon as that started happening, we got the note that basically Inosuke couldn't be put to sleep anymore because of the mask. They couldn't see through his eyes, so he couldn't be put to sleep with the eyes. So technically he was okay. And when that happened, I got goosebumps and he just popped off. He started shredding all of the eyes around him and all the stuff around him so that Tanjiro could get a nice hit in. And it was just awesome seeing that scene. Like, that was definitely one of my favorite moments in the film, was when Tanjiro and Inosuke were working together. That was amazing. That was really cool, in my opinion. Now that we got the goods and the bads out of the way, I have two questions that I wanted to ask that are pretty interesting and good questions that probably won't be answered, but if you know, leave a comment below. One question I had was, are Rengoku and Tanjiro related somehow? Now, I know it seems far-fetched when I say that, and it sounds crazy. If you look at Rengoku's mom, and you look at her eyes, she has these red eyes that look similar to Tanjiro's. And my idea was, what if that's Tanjiro's like real mom and his other mom was his stepmom, or vice versa? What if that was the case? Because if you think about it, also, you look at her and she looks just like Nezuko, kind of. Like, the face, everything, like, it looks just like Nezuko. It was kind of weird when I saw that, and I was like, that could be very interesting because they both use fire style too, so I mean, you never know. And then my second question was, could Zenitsu use unlimited thunderclaps since he's forced to sleep? Is that possible? And also, can he be affected by the lower six demon with the sleep paralysis thing? We all know that Zenitsu has a separate personality when he's sleeping, and that's when he's serious, and that's when he can do this move and he pops off. It's amazing. Okay, so my question is, since he was forced to sleep, doesn't he just go straight into that personality since he's sleeping? If so, can he just keep doing thunderclaps and flash since he's just forced sleeping, because it's indefinite until he's released from the sleep paralysis thing? But overall, the film was amazing. Definitely top tier animation. I really did like that idea of passing on the sleep paralysis technique through the actual ticket. The sound design, might I add, I forgot to touch on that. The sound design, amazing, okay? Especially on the fire techniques, oh my god, the sound was amazing, okay? When we got into Tanjiro's, it was very sad. We got to see his family again. He got to talk to them, got to see more on that. We got to see the father a couple times, flash here and there. which is really cool to give him motivation. And there was one scene where it didn't, because it was like some dark, like, incarnate trying to mess with Tanjiro's head. And then Tanjiro eventually figured out that he needed to kill himself in order to release the technique, which was very, very smart of him. And since he figured that out, he was able to tell everybody else, and that was a huge, huge, huge role that played into the film. Tanjiro goes up to the top because he's the first one up. He runs into the demon, he starts fighting the demon, and then he eventually finds out how to get out of the technique, like, consistently. The demon craps his pants, and that was hilarious, because Tanjiro just keeps coming at him and killing himself in the dream, and just keeps coming at him, even though the demon's just like, sleep, sleep, sleep. Nope. And that was really cool to see, and eventually he did cut off the demon's head. That was also a really cool scene. Obviously, it wasn't going to be that easy, so I already knew that it wasn't going to be the end. So we get this demon, this upper 6 moon demon. He comes out, or upper 3, not 6, upper 3 moon demon. He comes out, and he freaking starts talking crap, and he tries to kill Tanjiro off rip. Rengoku sees this, and he's like, yo, don't pick on the weak. I'm your opponent, so we're gonna get into this. And then they freaking start fighting. Oh, it was amazing. Like I said, everything Rengoku did, phenomenal, top tier. He never did anything wrong. Amazing. So you can expect that with the freaking upper demon clashing together. Oh my god, it was like an eyegasm, dude. It was amazing. So I had no issues with that whole entire interaction and fight scene, and the strong will that Rengoku had during that whole fight scene made it so much more impactful that it was just amazing. So it all came together really well, and it was very well executed, I would say. Like I said, I just wish I could have seen a twin fire technique with Tanjiro and Rengoku, or if I could have seen Tanjiro cauterize his wound and help fight and kill the demon at the end, at least, even if Rengoku died. Because I didn't have a problem with Rengoku dying. That wasn't the issue. The issue was the demon didn't die, and it just kind of left me salty, because we had one of these characters that started growing on me, and I only got to know him for literally one freaking episode, basically, because that other episode where they were talking about Nezuko in the actual series, you didn't get to see much of him, really. So, like, this is the first time we got to see him, and then he's already dead. So I was kind of salty about that, in my opinion. And I wanted revenge already. Overall, the goods outweigh the bads, and I would give it a 9 out of 10 still. From a critic's perspective, I would definitely give it a 9 out of 10, because it's a phenomenal movie, but like I said, there's a couple little plot holes here and there that could have been easily incorporated or fixed. And also, from a newbie's perspective, you can't really get into this film as easy as any other film, because you have to know what you're talking about, and you have to know what's going on to even understand the actual film. So that's another, minus right there. But overall, it's a 9 out of 10 from a critic's perspective, and that's just my opinion. From a fan's perspective, it's going to sound crazy, but I'd probably give it an 8.5 out of 10, because as a fan, I do see a lot more issues with the movie from my own opinions and my own perspective. So as a fan, I rate it 8.5 only, because that's just my own opinions that get incorporated into it. And like I said, I have a lot of different opinions here that should have been incorporated into the film, in my opinion. So that's why I rated an 8.5 from my fans' perspective. Overall, I definitely recommend watching it if you are interested in watching any animes, or you want to get started into an anime. Get started into this anime right now, because you don't want to end up like a Naruto or One Piece watcher, where you're sitting there for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of episodes, so you start getting lazy, you don't even want to watch it no more because there's so many damn episodes, right? You don't want that. Right now is the best time to get into this anime. There's only one season in the series. It's only 26 episodes long, and then you only have the movie. Easy to get through, easy to catch up, and that's why I recommend you do it. So if you want to get into it and you really like fighting and you like to see demon stuff, watch it. Highly recommend this movie. And if you don't want to watch the series, do your research online. All it takes is a little simple Google text, and you'll know the basic knowledge on the actual series, and that's all you need to understand the film. So with that said, this has been my very first movie review. If you haven't already, make sure you leave a like, rate, comment, subscribe below, and become a butcher today for your daily slice of happiness. I'm your host CJ, and I will see you guys in the next one.